Well, I've just got through watching War of the Worlds Goliath for a second time, and I feel that now I've watched it through a second time, I can talk about it more openly. At least I can, review it at least a bit more clearly now. So what is War of the Worlds Goliath? Well, the idea is that it's a sequel, and a lot of people were thinking, oh great, it's going to be like a steampunk adventure. It's not really, it's more diesel punk, because it's set in the sort of the early 1900s. And I'm going to get the good parts out of it. The good parts out of it: great animation, great action scenes, great music as well. But apart from that, that's about it. Now, what essentially the story should be is it should be all about the second great Martian invasion, which it is. But the problem is the characters they have. I can literally not remember the names of the characters. Literally, the characters are English leader guy, independent American woman, black Canadian family guy, conflicted Irish rebel, and best way to describe the last guy was random foreign guy. Because if you want to really, people care about the story, you've got to have good characters. And the characters we're presented with are terrible, because they are just paper thin. And as a result, you don't care. So yeah, there are these great action scenes, but as a result, I don't care what happens to some of these characters. I mean, one of the things that I find really strange is it should have started, is at the beginning, it's already, they pretty much tell you that our main cast of characters have been together for quite a while, and yet at the same time they're having conversations. You would think this team, if they've been together for quite a while, would have had a while ago. Like, no one, the female character brings up the fact that, her father's rich, and, she rebelled against her father. This was never brought up during their initial bonding period of when, the team came together. And it's just completely wrong. I mean, the literally, as I said, I cannot remember this guy's name, but random foreign guy has one scene with the Irish guy. And the Irish guy's sort of story is that he's going to help his brother, who is a member of the IRA, steal weapons or steal heat rays from Ares, which is the worldwide organisation that was helped to set up to defend if the Martians came back. And yet, at the same time that this is going on, World War One sort of happens. Now, at the beginning of the film, they set out the point that, look, the Martians absolutely destroyed Earth and absolutely wiped out, I think they wiped out billions of the population. So you'd think that upon receiving information that a second Martian invasion was coming, you'd think the countries would go, oh Jesus Christ, we need to prepare, we need to defend ourselves. But no, it doesn't make sense within the world, because again, there's a point where after they learn that this is happening, the Irish guy goes back to meet his brother and says he can't steal the weapons. And you'd think, when asked why, he just says, the guy says, oh, you're turning chicken on us. Why doesn't the Irish guy turn around and say, we can't because the Martians are coming back? that's a pretty valid reason. Again, on top of it, it's flawed, but it's a good film. It's well worth a watch, particularly if you've read, again, War of the Worlds, because, again, I'm always interested in a sort of a post War of the Worlds book as to what might happen if the Martians came back, and that's one of the things the film gets right. Earth has adapted the Martian technology, and they now have their own technology. In fact, the very first fight you see is that while Earth now has the technology to be able to take on the Martians, they are not equal to the Martians, which again adds an element of danger to the scene. The characters and our people are generally in danger, but the problem is I don't give a damn about the characters. They are paper thin as all hell, and that's really what damages the film. Would I like to see a sequel? Yes, I'd find that actually quite interesting. If anything, I'd like to know more about the Martians. Because I think if you're going to develop this world, I think we have to know more about the Martians. I think we have to find why the Martians are invading Earth. Because, well, one of the things people are going to bring up is, well, weren't they saved? What about the germs? Well, in the film Goliath, it's not directly said, but it's hinted at that one of the things the Martians are doing this time around is they are kidnapping people and are basically using people like squeeze boxes, and are basically gaining a temporary immunity to the germs. It's not fully explained, but it's just hinted at, and it's one of the things that I didn't pick up the second time around. Well, until the second time around. But overall, a good film, worth a watch. Has its flaws, but other than that, it's a pretty good film. I'd highly recommend it if you're a War of the Worlds fan.